Okay, this is a slight update on the Tyre Nichols story. I'm sure you have already heard about it. If you haven't, here it goes. The video is still posted as of today, February 3rd. I still see it, so it's still there. The reason why I say YouTube does have a habit of, taking off some of my things. So the video in what is supposed to be its entirety, even though I believe it's been slightly edited, it's still there. If you want to take a look at it, I didn't want to, but I had to see it if I had to talk about it. I need to know why. Where did this outrage come? So, is this a rumor or is it revenge? Is this a rumor or is this revenge? That is the question that I will be asking. In Memphis, Tennessee on January 7th, Tyre was pulled over. They said it was a traffic violation, but I did not hear any of the police officers say ID and registration, or do you know why we stopped you, or why were you speeding, or you have a tail. I didn't hear anything. You see the door opening and him being yanked out. You can clearly hear Tyre saying, "You are doing too much." Everything from macing him to kicking him in his face and his head, from calling him names. Everything. This is at a traffic stop. Tyre Nichols would succumb to his injuries on January 10th. There were protests and everything because I don't believe the officers were arrested immediately, but soon after they were. And on January 30th, 2023, 6 of the Memphis Police, they were fired, taken off force, along with 3 fire department workers, EMT workers. They were all fired, or like they like to say, relieved of their duties. They were relieved of their duties. Now, me being black, and I could speak for a lot of the black people, we didn't understand how 5 black cops who are around the same age as Tyre Nichols, how they did this. It seemed that it was more. It was way more than just police brutality. When 5 white Caucasian cops pull out a black male who's unarmed and they beat him to death, we can actually say, oh, they were racist. That's what we can definitely say. But in this situation here, these are so-called his peers, right? These are young men who have seen the news. They watch the news. They know what's going on. So why did they do this? It was just too much force. It was too much aggression. It was personal. That's what everyone was saying. I mean, when you watch the video, if you haven't, you're literally speechless. It leaves you in shock. You don't understand why. And they all are supposed to be a part of something called the Scorpion Unit, Street Crimes Operation to Restore Peace in our neighborhood. This is what they're supposed to be doing. And what they did, like I said in my video, it did not install peace at all. There was a white officer, Preston Hemphill. He had only maced Tyre, but he did actually say, "I hope they stomp you." And he called him a bastard. And this is all actually recorded on his police cam. So you hear him, and he was later relieved of his duties. But in the beginning, he actually had desk work, and they were not even saying his name or even saying his picture. Then that information was finally brought out, because you clearly see it is a white cop on the footage. So we were wondering, well, what happened to him? But they were so quick, to put the pictures of the 5 black police officers. Now, back to my question. Is this a rumor or is this revenge? They are saying that Demetrius Haley, 30 years old, one of the Scorpion, one of those cops, he was the one that was on the scene. They are saying that Tyre actually had a relationship. In some posts, it says his wife. In some posts, ex-girlfriend. In some posts, girlfriend. But they're saying that Demetrius Haley, his wife, was involved with Tyre. So people are like, yeah, that makes sense. This is why they did this to him. This was definitely a revenge thing. Now, where did this information come from? I heard it came from TikTok. Then I heard it came from Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account. I heard it came from various places, but it didn't come from any of the people that you would think it might have came from as of yet. Now, they also said that Haley, the cop, he took a picture of Tyre in this state and sent it to his wife, girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, whatever she is to him. This is all that's being said. So if you think about that, you're like, okay, that really does make sense. But the question is, did the other cops, did they know? Did they know? Because if they didn't know, and they gave this man such a fatal beating, then they're just monsters. And if they did know, and they went after him, then yes, this was all premeditated. But I do have to add that Tyre's mother and his stepfather have said that Tyre did not have any type of relations with Demetrius Haley's wife or girlfriend, and that these rumors are not true. And when I thought about it to myself, I'm like, he is 29. As close as we like to say that we are to our children, we don't really know everything that they're doing. So I wouldn't say to not completely rule it out, but I understand why the parents don't want, false information, if it is in fact false information, going out like that. Because in actuality, I won't say it will hurt the case, but they don't want to hear anything that's not true. And it always brings me back to the Kenneka Jenkins case. I mean, that was just so blown out of proportion. To this day, no one is 100% sure of what happened. All we know is this little girl froze in a freezer that was unplugged, that was supposed to be unplugged in a kitchen that hadn't even been a working kitchen. And then everything that came out after that, everything, I'm not going to even get into that because it was so much, everything. And to this day, there has been no arrest. It has been nothing. And this poor girl lost her life at such a young age. And even now, that's still in the media, and we're asking justice for her too, Shanquilla Robinson. That case was starting to get crazy too, with people adding stuff, everything. So you just don't know, if you're dealing with social media, what is fact and what is fiction. You just don't know. So, is this the same thing? Is this the same thing? I mean, does Haley and Tyre, did they have some type of, altercation prior? Did they know one another? I mean, we just don't know. But I like to repeat myself. Tyre Nichols' mother and stepfather said that those rumors are untrue. They're untrue. Now, in 2016, Demetrius Haley, he actually beat an inmate to unconsciousness. He actually was, from what I remember, hitting his head up against the sink inside the cell. And it was due to the inmate, I think his name was Cordarius. Oh gosh, I had written it down. Cordarius was his name. I can't remember his last name right now, but it was an inmate in Shelby County, and he had beat him, and because the inmate had contraband of a cell phone. And so he's known to have this type of aggression. I didn't see where the inmate had passed away, but I even stated in my video that this has happened before. So yeah, things are slowly but surely coming out, most definitely. Most definitely. They also said that Tyre Nichols, he was a FedEx. He worked for FedEx. Also, you know, with his photography, that's what he was aspiring to be. But his main job that brought in the income was his FedEx job. And that's where Haley's wife had worked. So that's how they say this is how the two had met. Again, I'm not sure about this story, but in the beginning, for half a second, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Then as soon as the parents said, no, it's not true, you know, that's just something else that's going on. But yeah, I'm following this story. If it's worth me repeating, I'm going to repeat. So right now, it's a rumor that the parents are saying is false. It's false. So there you go. And again, justice for Tyre Nichols.